Hi, welcome back, Backstage Chatter fans. It's me, your host, Jackie Hardy. We are so honored and excited to be speaking with Jay Daughtry in our Broadway at the Bass, presented by Performing Arts Fort Worth series. We speak with Jay about his role in the Tony Award-winning MJ the Musical. MJ the Musical will be performing at Bass Hall from May 13th through May 18th. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or share our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. So, welcome, Mr. Jay Daughtry. We're so happy to have you on our Backstage Chatter segment. And I just want to kind of give you a little intro of who we are. Backstage Chatter is the hub of North Dallas Gazette. It's a part of our YouTube channel, NDG Live, but we are proudly a minority owned and operated media organization. So, we're
Oh,
always excited to interview talented actors like you that reflect of many of our audience viewers and stuff. So thank you so much.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a great honor to be able to represent our community in a
Amen.
way like this and to share stories that reflect who we are,
That's That's what it's all
Yeah,
about, right?
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, because it's inspiring and it inspires the
Hmm.
next generation. Yeah. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on and certainly representing well. And I would love to start out by kicking off. You are a native of Florida, is that correct?
I am. Oh, yes, I
Yes,
am.
yes. So you got some Southern kind of ties there.
I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I would love for you to kind of share because I know your journey to the stage and I love stories like this was a little different than maybe the typical. Yeah, because I read you were like a teacher.
Yeah, a
Yeah, share that
banker.
story. Yes, please.
Yeah, so I went to college here I'm in Florida right now
Okay.
and I went to Bethune-Cookman University,
Oh,
HBCU.
hey, that's
And
right.
yeah, I graduated and at the time I was interning for BET
Wow.
television. Yes. And this is back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And this is also when BET was moving from DC to LA.
Okay.
And I moved to DC to continue to work with BET. And I got there, and they're like, "Hey, we need to continue your internship." And I said, "Hey, I need a check. I need a
I know that's right. I got to pay the bills.
right. I have to pay these bills."
That's right.
And so I left BET and went to work at Wachovia was the name of the bank at the time.
Okay.
And I was a banker, a small business banker for a while, and then the banks crashed. And so I'm in DC, the banks crashed. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So I taught school at a private Christian school there in
Oh, wow.
Maryland. And that's when I realized that kids were not for me.
That was not your gift.
That was not my gift. So special shout out to all you teachers out there.
Amen. Listen, it's a
That
call. It
takes
is a
yeah.
calling. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I hear
yeah,
you.
yeah. And it wasn't mine. But a thing happened while I was there. The music teacher passed away, unfortunately, and then the principal of the school, it was a a Christian school, sorry.
Okay.
And so she came to me and she's like, Mr. Daughtry, we know that you do music and you can sing. Would you mind covering the music class until we find another teacher? So I was like, sure. They were preparing for their spring concert. So I was, teaching them songs, making sure everybody was okay. And she came in the room to listen. My principal came in the room to listen. And she was like, can I talk to you for a second after the class? And I was like, yeah. She's like, I think this is what you should be doing. And I was
What?
like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, you're a performer. And she's like, this is what you should be doing. And I was like, I right now I need to pay my bills.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, and so she was like, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you 3 days a week. If you promise me that you will use those 3 days to go audition.
That is
And I said, Miss Williams, I promise you I will do that. And so I would get on a train or bus from DC to New York 3 days a week and just audition. And then
mm,
once I booked my first thing, it was just thing after thing after
wow.
thing.
That
Yeah.
is incredible. Talk about divine setup.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just her seeing something in you and calling that out, the importance of that. Shout out to Miss Williams, man.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And it was really divine because I did not know that her sister went to church with me. And
What?
I was leading praise and worship at the church, and this is how the whole music thing came into play. Her sister told Miss Williams, she's like, you know, Mr. Daughtry sings. And that's how Miss Williams knew
Ooh,
that I,
what?
yeah,
Wow,
yeah, yeah,
that man, you were destined. I mean,
yeah.
seriously. And I just love how all roads lead to your de ultimate destination, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
That's amazing. And
yeah.
nothing is by coincidence. Yeah, that is
Nothing at
totally
all. And
divine. Yeah.
I'm truly grateful because, I look at the experiences that I've had, and the people I've gotten to meet, the places I've gotten to take my mom, my
Yeah.
aunts who never
Right.
traveled,
Right.
and they've gone to these places because of me. But if that encounter had never happened, none of this would have ever
Absolutely.
happened. You know what I mean?
And
So
you
you have
not
to take
saying
every
yes
moment.
to that, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, because
yeah,
that yes
yeah, yeah.
opened other doors for you. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jay, for sharing that. And something that I read that I love too, and I'd love for you to expound just a little bit before we get into the business at hand, which is your role in the MJ the musical. But I
Mhm.
read, and I love this. You said that you had to learn to accept no. Yeah, and I that was so powerful to me, Jay, because I equated that to that's almost in anything, right, that we have to encounter in life, whatever the job or situation,
Mhm.
no is inevitable, right? And so
Yeah.
I would love to for you to expound on that as well, because that's a little bit of superpower right there to be able to accept no and rejection. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In our industry, you hear no
all the
a
time.
million times a
Or,
week. You hear it a million times a week.
or
But I've learned that no is actually a yes.
wow.
It's yes to what is specific for you. This is not it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have to go through those no's, and if you have to get a certain amount of no's to get to your yes. Every no is one no closer to your yes. And once you get your yes, it opens up a world of yes.
Wow.
And so receiving no's is important. It can be hard.
Yeah.
I don't want to act like it's
Not
not
minimize it.
you know
It's,
what
yeah,
I
there's
mean?
pain associated with it.
Because it can be hard to hear it, but once you understand that this no is important for my yes, it's a no that I have to go through to get to my yes. Um,
So good.
and once you receive that in that way, I change my perspective on it.
Yeah.
This is in the end, it is a yes. In every state, I am content. I'm content in this no because I know it's leading me to a yes. Yeah.
Wow. Listen,
Mhm.
that's a sermon right there. I'd like, this is a wrap.
Right,
Yeah, I
right.
love that. Man,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you for sharing that. I know someone listening, they're going to be encouraged by that. Yeah,
yeah,
just your
yeah.
whole life story and testimony that led you to where you are today.
Mhm.
And with that, because we're specifically interviewing you about, yeah, your role in MJ the musical. Before we kind of get into your role, I do want to talk about, I read too that you MJ, you have kind of a special connection to him with respect to, I know, growing up, and it was like the soundtrack to your life. Yeah. And I think
Yes.
all of us can say that to some degree, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So do you have like a specific album or song that kind of testifies to your childhood that,
I'm an 80s baby.
oh, yay.
And
I love
so
that.
so all of the songs and all of
Okay.
that
Especially
were
during,
a part of my life growing up. And growing up as a young black man in the South, in church, I
yeah.
was referred to as little Michael Jackson more than I can,
Listen,
singing
you were being
around the city.
prophesied over before you realized.
Right, right, right. We're gonna have little Michael Jackson come up and sing us a song. So, and his music has been in my life since I can remember. Climb Every Mountain, all these songs, these are songs that I sang growing up and still sing even now in auditions. I take some of his songs and like I remember specifically I was going in for a show that was classical music.
Okay.
And I looked in, we have a book, it's just your repertoire of songs that you sing for auditions. And I'm like, I don't have a classical song, but I do have this Michael Jackson song that I can kind of change.
Yeah.
And like, so I sang You Are Not Alone, but like very classically.
You, oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. But Michael Jackson, even, the whole Motown world has been a part of my life since I
Yeah.
can remember, and which is why it's so easy for me to call up these characters like Berry Gordy,
Yeah.
because I feel like they are my
Right.
uncles. They
That's
are,
right.
my grandfathers, and we shaped the culture of America
Yeah.
during that time through music and through, just our daily lives and the way that we were living. And so
Yes.
that translates through us all. That's that continuous string that connects me to you. That's why we can sit here not having met each other, but still understand each other. You know
It's
what I
a
mean?
language that is universal. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And you are playing the I can't even say it, Berry Gordy and
Uh,
and MJ. What is that
mhm.
like for you? Because you mentioned, yeah, it's like an endearing uncle or grandfather. So how does it feel to play someone you've admired from afar?
Well, this is my third time playing Berry Gordy in
Yeah,
a show.
okay. Wow.
I played him in Motown the musical, which was centered around him.
Okay.
And I played him in Ain't Too Proud, the musical, and now MJ the musical. And so
Wow.
he's become in Motown the musical, he was very hands-on with the show because it was about him.
Right.
So in that show, I got the chance to have personal conversations, one-on-one time with Mr. Gordy. And like I said, it's like I'm playing my uncle or somebody
Oh,
that I grew up with. That's very much so a part of my life.
yeah, that is so so cool. And you got to meet him, you said?
Yeah, a
What's
lot.
that like?
Yeah, back in Motown the musical, it'd be right before the show, and he'll call you, and he's like, "Hey, man, I know this is what we wrote, but that's not what happened. So tonight when you do it, I want you to say this." And
It's
I'm like,
like
"Mr. Gordy, but
he was
yeah,
watching, he was listening.
yeah, yeah, yeah." He was like,
Right.
"And I
Yeah.
don't want it to look like, because that's not what happened. That ain't the
Happening.
truth."
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow.
So I've had the pleasure of going to his houses
Wow.
in
Yeah.
LA,
Kind of getting it up
and
close personal.
yeah, with
Yeah.
him, with him and the whole Motown family,
Yeah.
with Stevie Wonder going to his birthday parties, Smokey Robinson playing golf with Smokey Robinson
Wow.
on Berry Gordy's golf course.
Listen. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
your life is a musical. How about that?
yeah.
That's amazing. Listen,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And I was going to ask you, in doing all of these amazing
Mm.
productions that you've done, because I've seen definitely The Temptations, which was
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Mm.
looking forward to seeing MJ the musical. Is there anything you kind of learned about specifically MJ doing this show or the music business in general that you didn't know going in?
MJ with MJ, and the show does a great MJ the musical does a great job of showing his humanity
Okay.
because he was such an icon. We sometimes forget that this was actually a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get to see why in MJ the musical, we get to see why he was the way that he was,
Mm.
what caused him, even in some of his movements, where did that come from? Why did he think the way that he thought, or why the musical line went the way that it went? Where did he get that from? So we get to dive really deeply into the person MJ.
And genius
Um,
of him, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
and learn like what were we really watching? We
Hmm.
know what we were feeling. We know how we were affected by what we were watching, but what was it that we were actually watching? What were the intricate parts of him?
Sure.
And so in this show, I've learned a lot about
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Yeah.
Wow. No, I can only imagine. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just how that even now when you hear those songs, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You hear it with a
Hmm.
different perspective. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
especially from the
There's a
Dangerous World Tour, those songs. Yeah.
there's a specific song in the show, "Stranger in Moscow,"
Okay.
that I it's one of those songs that you hear it, but you don't really pay attention to what he's saying. But in this show, the way that our director, Chris Wilden, crafted the scene, you actually get to like see these words that he's saying. And I don't want to give too much away, so when
Mm.
people come, they're impacted by it. But it's just
Wow.
scenes like that where you're actually seeing him sing them and you're hearing the words and you're like, oh my God, this is what you were saying. This is
Yeah,
what you were
it
talking
comes
about.
alive. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's incredible. And is there any on that, any favorite musical numbers or dances that
Uh,
you're kind of like, woo,
yes,
when you're
yes.
in the
All
show?
I'm gonna say is, Mama say, Mama sa,
I
Mama
love
tu sa.
so-
Mama say, Mama
I
sa, Mama
heard
tu sa.
that. I bet that just ignites the whole
Yeah,
right auditorium. I love it.
yes, I
Is
love
it
that.
kind of like
It's
a
so,
concert every night?
yeah, it's so energetic and
Yeah.
everybody's into it. You'll see.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot. And is the crowd like getting into it?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so. Very much
Yeah.
so. That we normally have to, after that song, hold for the applause. Like you have to hold.
For a while.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Wow. Y'all like, we got
Mm.
2.5 hours, so we gotta
Okay, come on, y'all. Come on.
That's right. I love that. And
Yeah.
my last question, because I know you gotta get on with your day. And you kind of touched on this, but I would love for you to talk about why is it important, that we preserving his legacy, MJ's legacy? Because I mean, he is part of the global, honestly, tapestry, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, I'd love for you to kind of end with that. Why is MJ the musical such an important, you know, um,
Yeah.
art piece, if you will? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
MJ, the musical, is so important because it helped his music help build our culture, who we
Wow.
know ourselves to be today. And his music was all about healing the world. And what do we need right now in
Come
the
on.
world?
That's
More
good.
than healing, we need healing. And
Yeah.
so these songs, his life, it was his ministry. It
Wow.
was his gift to the world. It was his way to heal the world.
That's
And we sing a song in the show, and I don't want to give it away,
I
but
love these teases.
we know the we know this song is called Man in the Mirror,
Yeah.
and it is as a call to all of us to look at ourselves and find in ourselves what is it that we can do to heal the world, to change the world. And I think that's what's so important about this story, and why when we tell it on the stage, each character, not just Berry Gordy, not just Micheal Jackson, but we're speaking with such conviction because we want to recall ourselves to ourselves in order to heal ourselves.
Oh, that's good. Wow. And I'm gonna end it there. I could that's a for real a wrap. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jay.
Thank you.
Seriously, I look forward to hopefully seeing you on that stage when you come to our fair city in May.
Yes.
Yeah, we look
Yes, I'll
forward
be
to it.
there. I'll be
That's
there.
right. I know you will. And I already feel your presence. So I can only imagine what it would be like to see it in person. So thank you so much. And I
Thank
wish you
you.
all the best. I do.
Thank you so much. Thank
You
you for
are
having
welcome.
me.
My
All right.
pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
ma'am. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now that you've seen our interview with Jay Daughtry, we know you're already clicking the submit on those tickets. Thanks for watching. And remember, you can see MJ the Musical at Bass Hall from May 13th through May 18th. You can head over to basshall.com/MJ for ticket information. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the theater. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or share our YouTube channel. Bye.